Hi, today my guest is Hoa-Binh Adjemian, the head of cooperation of the European Delegation Union in Armenia. We like to have a little talk with him today about the European Day, actually the European Week that they are organizing in Armenia from the 17th to the 24th of May. And we want to ask him about those events that they are organizing and more generally about what European Union Delegation is doing in Armenia. So let's have a little talk around this beautiful lake and let's see what he has to say. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. Thank you very much for being here and for accepting to reply to our talk. So tell me, you're the head of cooperation of European Union Delegation here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you are celebrating the Europe Day, the 9th of May, and you're actually organizing a whole week of events, concerts, conferences in Armenia. Can you tell us more about this, what you're doing for this week?
So for this week, we're celebrating the Europe Day, the Europe Week actually, and we started in Gyumri with different events, and now we're moving to Yerevan. We had events in Kapan also, and we think it's very important week, not only to promote ourselves and what we're doing here, but to show that EU is standing by the Armenian to help them to improve the life of Armenian citizens, and we continue cooperation.
So you're saying that in fact you're not only organizing event for this week, actually you're working every day in Armenia to promote project, So what kind of project are you working on right now? What kind of thing European Union has been doing in Armenia?
So I can give you some numbers, but numbers doesn't tell you the reality. We have ongoing 100 contracts in Armenia, moving from helping organic strawberry producers to building the North-South corridor. Or we also help improving the subway here in Armenia, and we're helping the condition of people in psychiatric hospital. Oh. So we can have a broad approach, and it's something, as you know, the EU is the first aid donor around the world, giving more than 50% of all the aid to developing countries. So we are promoting the values of Europe, and I think the EU is important. And talking about the EU values, it's important to remember that the great success of Europe is to have brought peace and prosperity, the longest periods of peace and prosperity that Europe never ever experienced before. And it's what we want to spread around the world, because to have a peaceful and a rich and a prosperous Europe, we can only have it if the world is also in peace and growing. We have to share. This is a value of Europe, and we're here for that.
Great. So you were speaking about values, and actually on your website it's written that this Europe Day or Europe Week is about conveying or promoting the message of Europe about cultural and innovative Europe. Can you tell me more about this thing? How is Europe innovative?
How is Europe innovative?
And how can Europe bring this mentality, this spirit to Armenian people?
I think the point is not to bring innovation. The point is to find how the Armenian and to help the Armenian innovate in their own way. There is not a single model. We're 28 different countries with 28 different models, and I do think that every single country has to find its own way to grow and to fight poverty. And here in Armenia, you don't see it here in Yerevan, but each time, and I believe you do, go to the countryside, you can see how difficult life is for the Armenian people. So we not only work with the government, we work with the civil society, and we work for reforms, and there are many reforms. I mean, there's plenty full of things we're doing. But you were talking about culture, and I think culture is not only making tomorrow we have an event with a very interesting Croatian pop star who is coming, but culture is the bond, the friendship that allows to bring peace, and without peace you don't have prosperity. So for us, at the core of our value is the understanding of the different cultures. Based on this understanding and the sharing of culture, we can help and we can build a prosperous Armenia, a richer Armenia, which means fighting poverty at the end. This is the.
You feel very passionate about what you're doing here, and actually it was off record, but you told me that your job was awesome. So because usually people are saying European Union is very technocratic, bureaucratical, and when I see a guy like you smiling and talking about Europe and Armenia in a very good way, can you tell me because your name is Armenian origin. Can you tell me more about, in fact, you and why you decided to come to Armenia? Why do you have like, what kind of relationship do you have to Europe and to Armenia and also to France? Because you're also French, and that's also why we are like speaking today. So can you tell me more about this like identity that you have, about this like passion that you have for Europe and for Armenia?
I would say first I'm truly European, and truly European in the sense where Europe is, it's the diversity. Europe is 28 different nations with so many different languages, with an understanding, a sharing, the minorities are respected, the different sexual orientation of people are respected, the color of the skin are respected. So I do completely share the EU values, and I'm completely European. I'm also, as you said, from a Vietnamese and Armenian background, and that was probably one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. But I would say my job is great because I'm promoting something I believe in, and we, us, and you believe also as a European. We are here to help. We are here to help the neighbors of Europe. We are here because there is poverty, and we can bring concrete results. Whether it's a small project in a tiny village outside where we bring water, whether it's to ensure that the traffic between Armenia and Georgia and Iran is made easier by a road, and then we'll bring growth, because without growth you cannot fight poverty. And I think when you look at the people and their suffering, it's important to say, if I'm here for something, at least I have to help. And so I would say I'm happy that my job is supposed to help. In this case, Armenian. Previously I was doing a similar job in Western Africa, so I kind of like my job.
That's great. I mean, you feel really passionate. And can you tell me more about the reaction you get from like Armenian people when you talk with them about Europe? Like, how do they feel about it? Like, what kind of reaction do you feel like? Because you just told me that you've been in other countries, other areas, always working for European Union. Like, what's the specificity of Armenian people considering their relationship to Europe? Like, how do they feel? Like, do they feel like close from European values? I mean, can we say that there are some European values? I mean, you see what I mean? Like, because you've been here for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So what's your feeling about Armenian people towards like European Union and towards France? Why not?
I would say what we're doing here, there's a clear lack of visibility. So people don't really know what we're doing. But I don't think the objective of our cooperation is to promote Europe. Yes, we want to promote Europe, but we want to have a real impact on the ground, and we do have an impact, and we're working to improve the impact. Armenia relation with Europe is interesting because Armenia is an empire, is a country in between different cultures. Is at the junction of Russia, Persia, I mean Iran, and there is Turkey, the ex-Ottoman Empire, Europe influence. So it's a mixture of influence. I think every single place has its own identity, and when we're talking about European values, we're talking about international values. I don't think there is so much difference. And concerning France, France has a privileged relation with Armenia, probably because of a big diaspora, and I'm one of the result of this diaspora, I would say.
So you just organized like this whole week about like, so we already talk about like the cultural event that has taken place, but I also saw on the program that there were some more like educational event, like classes, master classes or some kind of thing. So it's not only about culture, it's also about education, right?
I think culture and education, Armenian people are well educated, and this is probably one of the assets of Armenia. And however, there's still improvement to be done, clearly. And the EU, we are proud, and we've done a project on vocational education where we help building 12 centers to increase the education level here in Armenia. And we had this week different masters classes on different topics, because we believe that change comes through the people, so through their understanding, through culture, art and education.
A bottom-up process.
Just to give you an example, here in Armenia we had 30 campus projects. So we have more or less every single university here in Armenia has a cooperation with another university in Europe. It's not like we're doing one project. We like having 30 projects, and there's 30 universities in Armenia. So I think the scale of our cooperation is quite important and not known by the people. But if the results are there, and we do believe the results are there, it's a good thing. This was the objective.
You know, I agree with you, and the thing is, like, because we always talk about like what Europe can bring to Armenia, but in fact Armenia has brought so much to Europe in terms of, like, you know, like music, architecture, businessman. So it's good to see that there's not only like this relation is not only from Europe to Armenia, but also from Armenia to Europe. And I think it's great to convey that message and saying that we can learn we can teach something to Armenia, but Armenia has so much things to teach us also. And about this week, like, was it organized only by the European delegation, or was it organized in cooperation with some Armenian association or governmental bodies, or, you know, like, was it a kind of like co-creation? Or
so I would say first it's organized by the initiative of the European delegation and its member states. It's important to remember that we have an EU delegation and we have member states here. Then what I thought more interesting and enjoyable is that there was a lot of side events organized by people who were not asked to organize anything. In museum in Gyumri, in Kapan, for example, that was organized by our project. They didn't give it any financing, and they organized a beautiful day in Kapan. This is a proof that people who receive and we're working with are not only like, it's not only organized because we have money, it's organized because people believe in Europe and share the value. This is very nice, and I was so touched when I was in Gyumri with this ad hoc organization in Isaacian Museum, for example, where you had dance of little girls sing, people playing. It really shows what we want to do here in Armenia. We don't want to impose anything. We want just to help Armenia find its way to better develop, and better develop meaning fighting poverty. And poverty, you see it in the eyes of the kids who are poor, in poor family in the region. It's just, you don't see it in Yerevan, the nice coffee where we tend to go out. Nice coffee anyway.
So I think your message was pretty clear, and I think it's a very good message that you just gave. But if you have to conclude this interview by one sentence or one word about like European Union and Armenia, what would you say?
I would say the construction of Europe has been a process that brought peace and stability to a lot of countries. And I think Armenia is a country where you have peace, but the war has not been ended. And the message is that we want to promote peace. Without this peace and this understanding, and without understanding the diversity in the culture, the diversity in the people, will not bring any growth. And we don't want to bring growth, we want to bring happiness. This is important. And I think EU value is there. We are here for the Armenian people. We're not here for anything else than helping the Armenian people. And this should be an event that shows this willingness. I mean, there's nice concert, nice teaching, nice cultural events all around, and we'll continue throughout the week and throughout the year. So,
Hoa-Binh Adjemian, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot,
and good luck for the job.
Thanks.